We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. What was that I just did with my hand? What the hell? I'm your host, John Stenning, and a bit later in the episode, I will be joined by some of the other IJAH members to discuss our recent trip to Chatham, New York, and our participation in the Farmer's Daughter Gravel Grinder. That's right, so stay tuned for that in just a bit. But first, I'd like to get some business out of the way. And for the last time this year, the year of our Lord, 2023, I would like to plug the Greylock Century Vertical Challenge. If you're a member of our Strava Club, if you've heard of this podcast before, if you're on our Facebook page, you've probably heard me promote this event ad nauseum. And guess what? I don't care. It's a great event. It's very reasonably priced. It's super well supported. The rest stops are awesome. The volunteers are awesome. You can check out the Bike Reg page in the YouTube description. Wow, I did the point below. And there's a 70-mile version and a 100-mile version. The 100-mile version is like 12,000 feet of climbing. Excuse me. I think the 70 version has like 8,000 or so. It's a lot. And it's daunting and it's challenging and it is awesome. Yeah, like I said, there are 6 rest stops and amazing volunteers. Some of the best views around. The view at Greylock is awesome. There's like a huge tower at the top. It's a war memorial tower. And I think the First World War, maybe the second. I don't know. All the world wars blend together for me. The third one, the ongoing Third World War. Yeah, like I said, you will suffer, but you know, that's how you get stronger and more confident on your bike. You get to do some sick descents. That's a good thing that pairs with all of the uphills. There's a lot of downhill too. There's not much flat on the Greylock ride. It's all up or down. And it's awesome. You've heard us talk about it before. We think you should check it out. And you can check out the video on our YouTube from last year's event. And it's awesome. Please check it out. Sign up. Berkshire Velo puts it on. They're a great club. And they could use the support. And I think there are about 50 or so people signed up. But come on, let's get it to 100. I know that might not happen. But yeah, it's a great event. And we think you should do it. And if you can't do it this year, put it on your calendar for next year. I hope they continue to do it. And oh yeah, all the proceeds go to youth cycling in the area. So that's awesome. Find me at the start or the finish and I'll give you some free stickers. I might have stickers with me middle of the ride. So let me know. Sometimes I carry them in my ride wallet, but that also means they're kind of sweaty. All right. Some of those stickers can be purchased at www.itsjustahill.com. You see that segue into just a little bit of plugging the merch. You can just check out our website. We have stuff there. It's where we put all of our videos, videos that aren't associated with the podcast, videos that are associated with the podcast, our links for when our kits come out. I don't know, bookmark it. Itsjustahill.com. And now I'm going to take a little break and we're going to cut to a different video with me in it because that's how this works. And I'm going to be with a bunch of people that I participated in Farmer's Daughter with this year. So thanks for watching. Or it's not the end of the episode. So thanks for watching this part. And hopefully you continue to watch the next part. Here it is.
Hello and welcome. I already did an intro. I don't know why I'm saying hello and welcome. Welcome to the 4 of you. You heard who I am. I'm going to go around what my circle looks like, starting to my right, like Happy Day style. Ryan, how do you, Holstein?
Holstein.
Holstein. Fuck.
Yes. It's probably a learning experience for all of you, right?
Didn't you guys ride together today?
We did. And
We did.
Ryan, I can edit this part out, but we met like a member of your extended family today and they actually said your last name. And I was like excited to hear it, but I didn't really like retain it 100%. That's why I said it with such guess, and I was wrong. So this is what I get for not preparing. And this can say in the podcast, and I apologize. Could you say it one more time for Bike Court, what your name is?
Yep. So it's Holstein.
Holstein.
Which in college, it always got mistaken for Hustlin. So it was Ryan Hustlin, which was that was fun for a while. Very cool. Yeah, Holstein.
All right. The person who called me out for not knowing how to pronounce his name, Adam Carroll. Hello, Adam. Thank you for joining us.
You said my last name right.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of extended families, there are Carols in my extended family. We have talked about this before. We are not related, we don't think. Also joining me, Brian St. Pierre. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
And Sam Dimmick. Hello, Sam.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So if I'm in the middle of the Brady Bunch, did you guys ever watch Brady Bunch? Some of you are very young and probably not. Who's in the middle? Is it the housekeeper?
Got it. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the reference well enough.
Right.
It
Brady
might
Bunch.
be.
I'm pretty sure it is the housekeeper whose name escapes me right now, but I guess I'm the housekeeper of the podcast. And today, the housekeeping at hand is that we're going to talk about Farmer's Daughter. It's been a few weeks, so I did write down how I remember. I wasn't really great at getting everyone together, but we all participated in this event this year, Farmer's Daughter 2023. It was in May. I had a lot of fun. May 21st, it was presented by Bountiful Bread and Steiner's Sports. I did not know that until presented by Bountiful Bread. They did one. They
didn't get a lot of signage out. Bountiful Bread.
No. But I didn't know that. So there were 1,200 people, $90 each. Yes. Can you do Adam, can you do the math real quick? I have it in front of me.
How many people?
1,200.
1,200.
Oh, wow. Fuck you.
Wow. Wow. It's a lot.
$108,000.
Yeah.
That's wild. So sure, money
money
goes into it, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money coming in for an event like this. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. You could camp on site for an additional $35. None of us did that. We know someone that did, Jason Behringer, who actually told me about this event. He did that, and I don't know. It sounds fun. Adam, you and I did that for Overland. It's like
that was a blast.
Yeah.
Overland's cool though with the 2-day.
Yeah,
I don't think that was only one night, right? Just the night before, probably.
Correct,
I don't know if they did 2-day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forget. Overland, you sleep the night after you arrive. A much easier night to sleep after the big effort, except for the camping the night before a big effort like that. I'm kind of torn on it because sometimes it's a lot, stressful.
I'm looking to rock a different setup this year on that. But anyways, yeah.
Wow. Okay, there's a little teaser for Overland.
Cryptic. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
Past year was the 10th year. No one here had done Farmer's Daughter before. Is that correct? It was all of our first time. If you're just listening to the podcast, most people just nodded and then, okay, everyone said thanks at the end. Okay, sorry to call you guys out. It was 65 miles and 6,000 feet. That's what is that right? That's what it said on the website. Is that really what we did? I should have the Strava link in front of me.
I have mine pulled up in front of me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Brian.
Someone came prepared.
It was.
Yep, thank you. Never me.
My computer says 67 miles, 7,100 feet.
Wow. I believe I don't think I had above 7,000, if I recall correctly.
I think I was in the 6,500 range, something like that.
Wow. That's low. Sorry.
Yeah.
You got to throw your head unit up in the air a couple more times. 45 miles on maintained gravel roads is set in 3 sections of unmaintained dirt paths or double track. Does everyone remember it that way? Like there were 3 sort of harder single track sections.
Yeah.
One sort of in the beginning. Then the second one was very rooty right before the second rest stop. And the last one was right after the third rest stop, right? With that insanely steep section that was just shale for rock.
Yeah.
That was
right after the third rest stop. Yeah.
Right. So
there's always a hill after rest stop.
Yeah. Why is that? Is that just what riding out in that area is? Just because there are a lot of hills? Why does it seem that?
I don't know, man. There's literally a hill after every rest stop in every event.
And your legs are just full of lactic acid at that point, and you need a good 5 or 10 minutes to shake it out, especially if you're taking your time. We were sort of taking our time at the rest stops, right? What was the first rest stop? I don't remember it as well.
It was at the winery.
Yeah, the one.
Oh, that's right.
Like a little
paired up with Whit.
setting.
Paired up with Whit Hill there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was fun. Oh, and that's where they had the fruit jerky, which I took a lot of those.
You went big on fruit jerky. They also had 2 kinds of Oreos, which I was big on. They had the vanilla and the standard Oreo.
Yeah, I have that.
They did a great job with the rest stops. With the
I agree.
Selection.
Yeah. And they were different. All 3 rest stops didn't have the same stuff. The first one is what we mentioned. Adam has gone dark. Who knows?
Yeah.
He texted me 1 second. But
disappeared.
So the first one, right, had like the fruit jerky and had Rice Krispie treats, which I just bought a box of 54 Rice Krispie treats today. God help my self-control.
Congratulations.
I will just eat them on the bike, and they're so reasonably priced, and they're like a quarter of the price of like a Martin bar or like an RX bar or something. It's wild. Yeah. Brian, I know Brian St. Pierre. Brian St. Pierre, you are a fan. Is that correct? Of Rice Krispie treats? I'm
a fan of Rice Krispie treats on the bike. I feel like they they're sweet, but they're also salty. They provide a very good like bite and crunch, but at the same time they're not hard to eat. They're still soft.
Yeah,
there can't be much fiber in there at all because it's just rice and sugar, and there's a little bit of butter. That's the only thing about them, is that there's a little bit of fat in there, but that could be good too if it's a long ride.
Sure.
And then most importantly, they don't really weigh anything.
So can I jump in here on that though?
Yeah, of course. I want everyone's opinion.
This is the downfall of the Rice Krispie treat. Is it doesn't weigh. There's not much to it, so it takes up a lot of volume for the amount of calories in it.
Okay. Now, I've probably talked about this on the podcast before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. But one of the greatest moments in my cycling "quote unquote" career was when we did a ride. Adam was there. That was 200 miles, and we met up with Brian St. Pierre around, I don't know, Brian, mile 60 or so. And you had Rice Krispie treats in your back pocket.
Oh my God, that was the best thing ever.
Adam, truly an amazing, unforgettable moment.
Yeah.
Unprompted. We did not ask him. We did ask a lot of him to pull us around on a big ride. So thank you, Brian. But he went above and beyond, obviously, and brought us Rice Krispie treats and handed them out to us like on Leighton Night Road. I remember exactly. I will never forget the exact spot. Also, Brian Caudy, who's not with us, but did Farmer's Daughter, has that on video. But yeah, it was amazing, Brian. So you stuffed a lot in your pockets. Did your pockets feel over full? You must have had 6 of them.
Yeah, probably. I think I might have. I think I had them, in the back of my shirt. I was, really domestique about that shit.
Yeah. Sam, you ever eat a Rice Krispie treat on the bike?
I don't. And as you guys are saying this, all I'm thinking is that ever since I got my wisdom teeth out like 2 months ago, all I've done is gels since then. And I haven't turned back really on the bike.
Is that to protect your teeth?
At the time, it was just to not like chew, and I was just using gels at the time, like right after the wisdom teeth. But now I'm just totally stuck with it. Like I like the gels, way easier to eat on the bike. They're not
exciting, but they're very easy
for me. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't go Rice Krispie treat a lot. But I should try it.
Yeah, I do remember they had them at the first rest stop. I probably had one. I think they also had them at the third rest stop. But the second rest stop was the one that was Bountiful Bread, like fully sponsored. Like the bread truck was there.
Oh, it was so good. The sandwiches.
Yes. The sandwiches were so good.
Those protein bites.
You guys eat sandwiches? Did you go full, like, they had like turkey sandwiches and everything?
Yeah, I didn't go meat sando. You did?
Yeah.
You did?
Wow. Okay. Anyone else have I had a peanut butter sandwich.
Same.
Yeah, I had a peanut butter sandwich.
Sam?
Protein bite. Wicked good.
The energy bar things that they had? Yeah.
Yeah. Few of those. They're really good.
Yeah.
Adam, some people, including myself, might say it's a risky move to eat a cold cut sandwich in the middle of a big ride. How did you feel about it? No question. You were like, I have an iron stomach. You felt nothing.
I literally felt nothing.
That's your own problem, my friend.
Yeah. Felt great.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. They looked delicious, and it was like freshly baked bread. I had a peanut butter sandwich and they put honey on it. There was honey. There was also cookies there. I had a couple of cookies. I did not end the day with a calorie deficit. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that we all ate pretty well at those stops.
Yeah.
They were so well stocked. It was really nice.
Rib Fan waffles, big fan.
Oh, Rib Fan waffles.
The Rib Fan waffles.
Yeah. And a dog. The third one had a dog.
Oh yeah, the dog.
A dog that didn't really want to be pet, but still was like a very nice dog. And I kind of respect that when a dog like is just like, no, I'm good. Like I don't.
The actual. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. No,
the other bite at that stop was that Mexican chocolate cake, which they hinted in the email before.
That's right.
And that was a good bite.
I didn't have that. I think actually maybe I did. Did someone break me off a piece of something? One of you guys did.
I remember
Ryan
gave
everyone
really
something.
good bite. And John, I think you said you had a bite that was dry.
I did. I didn't want to talk. You're right. I did say that.
I'm sorry. I should have known what you were doing there.
No, I just wanted, I
good,
wasn't trying to tiptoe around it. I was just trying to make sure it was that rest stop where listen, if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard my dumbass opinions before. I never said I was a genius. Okay. I've got a lot of opinions. I've never said that they were good or people need to follow along with them. But that friggin' piece of cake was dry as hell that day. And I did eat it. But also this was such a well-run event and I can't speak poorly about it because
I think the thing that you're thinking of though, the thing that I shared with you and maybe Adam was the chocolate babka, which was not the chocolate cake.
Yeah.
It was like
that's what I had
bread, which was not a great chocolate babka.
Oh, fair. Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad this is all cleared up.
Cake's name.
Because the Mexican cake was, like you said, it was in the email. Sam, did you have Mexican cake?
No, but I had the babka. I remember it. And I don't want to talk trash. But it was a little dry. I'm sorry. I remember that.
It was dry.
I regret saying that because the stations were so good.
You should have just mixed it with Gatorade.
Yeah.
Yeah, poured a little Gatorade on it. You should have, you should have topped it with a gel.
Yeah, exactly.
Frosting, gel
untapped maple, maybe.
Oh fuck, that would be so good.
You could pour that on anything and it would be good.
Yeah,
they had what else were they like? Do you think they were sponsored by any like of those cycling brands? I don't remember. I don't have it in my notes here. Or was it all just like it was mostly purchased with the $108,000 they raked in with part of the $108,000?
They used their feed store credit and then paid $107,980.
Yeah. They got a little bit off. Yeah. There were sweep vehicles. There was swag, which maybe the swag was the worst part about it. And it was chip timed, which was odd because it wasn't a race, right? Like that was a weird thing. Some people treated it like a race. Some people even like sarcastically trolled their Strava post to say that it wasn't a race, even though they took a picture on a podium. I don't know. I don't know these people. So, but I did see that. And I think that's weird because it wasn't a race. Does anyone else have any feelings on the whole thing that it was chip time, but it wasn't a race?
Yeah, people rode aggressive in that first trail section. Maybe too much so.
Yeah, they were riding like it was a race to get position on the first trail section. That is for sure. I fell over. I was pushed over.
Brian had that guy say it wasn't a race, or it was a race.
It was
competitive, but it wasn't. I forget what he said.
Yeah, or something like
it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, right. Which like. Okay, so we're not like from the area. We're not like keyed into like the scene, but like it seemed like there were a handful of people that were there to race. I wonder like if that's like a thing in that area, like it's an unspoken, because I don't know, like we've talked about it before in the podcast. Some of us have been on the show and some others haven't, but like, like racing on open roads or like, I don't know. It's interesting. People were racing. Was anyone else harassed by aggressive riders? Sam, were you pushed off the side of the road like I was?
No, it wasn't pushed. The first trail section was hectic. Yes. And then the first 20 minutes, I'd say, was fast, and we rode hard, and we definitely took our times at the aid stations, which was sweet. And but I'd say while we were riding, we were generally going pretty hard.
I agree.
Yeah. And but yeah, the first 20 minutes we were kind of with people that were racing as well, I'd say, or that like were trying to race because it was just the start of the race. And yeah, there were definitely people getting after it. So
those first like 4 miles or whatever of pavement before we hit dirt, it was really fast, and it was like honestly a very similar vibe to the start of that Plymouth ride, which was a race.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I think I remember turning to maybe multiple people and just being like, damn, my heart rate is way too high. Like we gotta chill the hell out. I think for those first miles on pavement, like my heart rate was probably average, like 165, 170. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't think we had the best position. Like I remember dilly-dallying myself. I don't think anyone's necessarily to blame here, but like we definitely didn't get to the start line in a place where we had a good spot to get to that dirt section first, And I didn't
the waves were weird.
The waves were so weird. How many did we have in our waves?
What was it, like 800 people in the first one and then like 100 or 200 in each of the second ones?
Yeah, there's 1,200 people and there's 3 waves. Just do 400 in each wave. It's so easy to figure out. Like there were like 750 plus in our wave.
And you could tell people if you're going to race, go in front.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Just do a race wave.
Get those people out of the way.
Just do a race wave, and maybe like have them pay a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know.
Like literally giving a group of testosterone fueled cyclists freaking chip timers, but saying it's not a race is like throwing a pack of meat in front of a bunch of wolves and being like, you're not eating that, but it's just here, just so you know.
Yeah. So that's a great point. Like why was it chip timed? People say for safety.
Yeah, we entertained that idea though, that it was for safety to make sure people could finish, but John
didn't call you.
Yeah, he went east of the finish line. He never went through it.
I never went under the
Mississippi.
Gate. Yeah, I never went under the gate. No one called like a true idiot, and I never got called. So I don't think it was about safety because technically I was never marked across.
Meanwhile,
the line.
Tortorodi has called me, and it's not even chip timed, and I got a call from them because I didn't check in when I got back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Tortorodi. That's coming up. That's a quick plug for Tortorodi. Sign up. Help. Sam's wearing his Tortorodi shirt. Amazing.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I have another weird addition about the chip time thing.
Please.
Which I think I was in agreement. Yeah, like maybe that was a reason, like the safety, so that they can keep track of, make sure everyone finished. But Adam and I both didn't realize when we went to get our nameplates and whatever to check in at the beginning of the day that someone else had already grabbed ours for us because we had asked and they very nicely did. I think it was maybe Ryan. Thank you again.
Nice job.
But then we didn't know. So we went to go get our things and like there, everyone's going crazy looking for our names and trying to check us in and give us our stuff. And we ended up both just writing our names on new cards,
right?
New bike, new faceplates. And then we also had new chip numbers and everything to go with our new number. And I noticed on my official time that my old chip, the first chip that actually had my name on it, had a time.
What?
For the race.
Wow.
And I didn't ride it on that chip. That chip was sitting in Adam's car all day. It had a time.
Wow. That's interesting.
What?
They were able to switch that because that happened.
Yeah, was it first? Wait, what happened, Adam?
No, same thing with Brian. Like they were able, they told me to write down the number I was given, so they switched it somehow electronically. So I didn't use the original plate, but they were able to trace my time. It was accurate.
Oh, that seems nice of them that they did that. I guess there was a little kerfuffle at the beginning when Ryan graciously got your. Geez, Ryan, nice job. Good job.
I didn't even realize that I had dropped the ball. I didn't realize that I hadn't told you guys that I did that, which is less helpful than just not getting it.
We were both so confused. How did both of us not have numbers? We're the only two people that don't have numbers.
Yeah, we were just too busy hanging out by Adam's truck talking to Sam.
Yeah. You gonna get ready soon? Yeah, soon. Right,
because
doing literally nothing.
You guys drove up the morning of. Sam, you stayed locally with family, right? And then Ryan and I stayed with Brian and Jeremy. Yeah. Brian rode his bike through I'm sure if Brian was here, he would be telling us about how he rode his bike through the hotel hallway trying to create a segment. He did it 3 or 4 times. It was fun. It was funny. I thought it was very funny. Yeah. He uploaded it to Strava.
I also wrote down, this was pre ride day, but raining in my truck on the way up.
Oh yeah, it rained in your truck.
Serious rain on the way up there.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? I was in the front seat, so I was not, I honestly didn't even care really. I mean, it sucked for your truck, but I was like, whatever, these guys are getting wet back there.
I was sort of in the same boat as you, if I'm honest. I don't know. I haven't really.
Yeah, well, you were driving too. You had, better things to deal with.
Yeah, I know. It's apparently a thing on those trucks that rain can get in through the tail, the mid tail light. So it rained on Brian and Jeremy on the way up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So and I don't know why I went back to how we got up there, but how if it I don't know, everyone's first time doing it, myself included. Sam, would you do it again?
Yeah, I think I'd love to do it next year. Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts about the ride that I didn't mention, whether it be like how it was run or like any pros or cons? You know, like we both agree that there was some dry fucking babka, but hey, maybe it's like a scone. I believe you and I have both experienced dry scones before, and some pastries are just harder than others, you know?
Yeah, and it was definitely an event too. Like it was wet, like it rained the night before. So like those single track sections were sloppy. So like if I were to go out on a solo ride on a Saturday, like I'm not including that section in my route, but just because it was an event, like we had to do it. So like that was sweet, I guess, like to like do something that we wouldn't have done otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, I agree. I forgot how dirty it was, but my bike was filthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was cool too. Like sometimes, not to make another skiing reference, but like skiing, it's tough. Like when you have a group of friends and it's like you're all trying to go down the same trails and everything. So I was like excited or like interested to see at the start of the day like how we would do with all of our group. But we stayed together all day and ripped it. It was fun.
Yeah, got a little aggressive at the end. I think I'm usually to blame at the end of a ride if it gets a little bit too aggressive. I don't know. There's something in me sometimes where I see like that I only have 10 or less miles to go, and something clicks in my head / my legs where I'm just like, let's get done, you know?
Yeah.
But you're right. We did stay together really nicely, I think, until the end.
Yeah.
And Brian, or BSP, you know, a lot of Brian confusion. I know we should just be calling you BSP, Brian, I'm sorry, but what would you do Farmer's Daughter again? And what are your sort of, I guess, closing thoughts, if you will, about the ride?
I would 100% do this ride again. I thought it was a real blast. I think really the only sort of frustration was that bottleneck at that first, single track section. And then kind of the discrepancy with vibe of like, definitely some people really seeming like they wanted to race it. So maybe there's some room for improvement in how they organize the waves and some clarity about that. But I really, really enjoyed the day. I thought it was a hell of a ride. Nice people, really good food. It was just great time.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the food at all, but the food afterwards too was really good. Like make your own. It said burritos, but it was just like make your own taco plates. It was great. Like I'm not complaining at all. It was weird that it said burritos because I just read it again and it was like burritos, but basically it was like
there were taco shells
plates
at the bottom of the plate, and then the plate was about 6 inches tall of food.
Full of food for all of us. Yeah,
really good too.
Yeah, Adam, would you do it again? And closing thoughts?
Yeah, it was really good. Actually, one thing that they did really well, the check-in process, aside from our little hiccup that was our own fault, it was super fast. Like Brian and I were concerned, like, are we going to make it in time? What's it going to be like when we show up in the morning? Honestly, we have plenty of time to get ready, everything, check in. I mean, the check-in was 10 minutes tops, and that was with the mess up. So we would have been done in 2 minutes.
Oh, it was 2 minutes for us. Yeah. Like, we were there pretty early still, but it was so fast.
Like, no concerns if I were to do it and drive up again in the morning. It was like 2.5 hours from my house top, and that was with like 2 stops, Brian. I think we stopped twice.
We did stop twice.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours, and then we checked in like 2 minutes. So
that was my fault.
Oh, fault.
No, that was no. We just had like the regular Mass Pike rest stops. Oh, gotcha. We stopped at one and we got coffee and food, and then I needed to use the bathroom.
Resulted in the second stop.
Right as we got to the next rest stop.
Oh, nice. So that's good timing, though. That's good. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the ad break. I don't know why I did the same hello as before. It's just sort of my like podcasting mode. But here's the ad break that we had to go to because Zoom limits your calls and I'm not paying for Zoom. Before we get back to the wrap up of our Farmer's Daughter chat, I would like to take a moment to mention our club sponsors. First and foremost, Mythic Bike Works out of Peacedale, Rhode Island, right near the Peacedale Rotary, which is personally one of my favorite types of road furniture, and also conveniently located right off the South County Bike Path. You can also check out the Peacedale Ramp Room, which is right up the street. Mythic has a part in setting this up. They have their own shop right inside. It's an indoor ramp room. It's complete, like I said, with its own bike shop. You can stop by either location right in Peacedale, Rhode Island for all your bike needs, or hit up mythicbikeworks.com. A Guy in His Pie, Detroit-style pizza. You can get full pies, appetizers, and slices. Place your order ahead of time. Pick it up at the time you choose. And now you can enjoy your pizza right outside during these gorgeous summer months. There are now tables right outside. So grab your pizza, eat it fresh right at the tables outside. Instead of, what I've done before is I've picked up like multiple pizzas for people, but then I'll like eat a slice of one right away in my car as I'm driving away. So you can now do that at the tables right outside. Check them out at aguyandhispie.com and on Instagram for some great mouth-watering posts that update all the specials all the time. And always doing new stuff, but always doing the classics Detroit style too. And so check them out, A Guy and His Spy. Also, Bomb, located in Westerly, Rhode Island at Dunn's Corner at 240 Post Road. You can get burritos and bowls at the OG location or head right next door in the very same plaza for wings and wedges. You can find either menu online at www.bombwingsri.com and www.bombburritosri.com. Why did I say the www? I don't know. It's sort of just implied now. You don't really need to say it anymore. Also, can't forget Pepperidge Farm. After all, it is the Stenning family business, if you're aware. So what I suggest is grab a couple of slices of swirl bread, cinnamon or raisin. I do prefer the raisin. Put peanut butter on them. Make a peanut butter sandwich out of that bread. You can cut it in half if you want. It's a little bit skinnier, but those are great ride stacks. You can stuff them in your back pocket, stuff them in your bar bag. And that, to me, is a ride snack to remember because, after all, Pepperidge Farm remembers. And, of course, this podcast network, my podcast network, Decaf Left Media. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts for more episodes of this very show and some of the other shows that I have worked on. Thanks. Now back to the Farmer's Daughter chat.
Ryan, thoughts? Would you do it again? Closing thoughts, regards.
Yeah, so not a unique take. Would do it again.
No,
I
it's okay.
Felt like my money went to good use. Great rest stops. It was well run. It was efficient getting in and out of there. All that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was a great day. It was a good mix of terrain too. I wouldn't have. I like the way Sam said that. The rain that we had the day before, I wouldn't have gone out and ridden some of those muddy single track sections. But then,
Right.
Again, like that second single track Rudy section where we were kind of in the trees there by that lake. I think that was a highlight.
Fun.
People were whooping
awesome.
in the woods, and that was a great time. Great day. I think my favorite quote too was John, you and I were talking on the way up and kind of just talking about what kind of day we were going to expect, and we were talking about the elevation, 6,500 feet. We're like, and I think we both said, we're like, it's not the elevation that's going to get, it's going to be like the technical sections that are make this ride difficult. Yeah, that was a bad take.
It was, because it was a lot of climbing.
Yeah, in the end, it was those hills.
Yeah, the hills really, because those three technical sections, I did like that. They were very different, right? First one, I would say super muddy. Second one, super rooty. Third one, really rocky.
Yeah,
I didn't feel as confident about the third one. Yeah, steep and loose. But yeah, I mean, it was, and it's the type of riding, right? Some people actually, I'm glad you said this, because some people, and they were like, oh, it's just a hill, and it's very nice. People, compliment us or say they've seen us on YouTube or whatever. But then people are like, where are you from? And you say Rhode Island, and they're like, there's no hills in Rhode Island. So listen, to every single person that says that, my email. I put my email in everything. It's John, Jon, at itsjustahill.com. Shoot me an email. Come to my house. We will ride. I will show you where the hills are. Fuck you. Okay. But that being said, we would ask the people, where are you from? And they'd be like, Brooklyn. What are the hills in Brooklyn? Get out of here.
Come
Get
on.
the hell out of here. But you can't necessarily train in the same way you can in those areas around here, because it is harder to find hills, especially like that, a 67-mile day or whatever with 7,000 feet of climbing. That's a lot. That's pretty hard to do around here.
Yeah, there weren't many flat sections. It was pretty consistent rolling.
Yeah. That's a great point. Not many flat sections. That's how I feel about
what some of us are doing this weekend, Greylock. Not many flat sections. You get to go up a lot. You get to go down a lot. You just rest when you're going down, I guess. But that's how that's just like a different way of riding that I think a lot of us aren't used to. And yeah, I don't know. I had a blast. I would 100% go again. I would like recommend other people to go. I said what the price point was earlier. Not quite as cheap as something like Greylock, which I think is $60, but still in a reasonable price range. It's not like an Overland price tag. And yeah, it was really well done. I sort of touched on it earlier, but the swag was really whack. They did hand out like some glass, like, I don't know, what would you call them? Glassware from the previous year. Yeah.
It was like a snifter almost.
A beer snifter almost. Beer. Yeah. Yeah. But there weren't many of those. All of us got a silicone beer, quote unquote, glass that was made of silicone and was stretchy. And arguably the worst winter hat. I don't know where you're from, a beanie, a toque hat, whatever the fuck you call it. It was maybe the worst hat I've ever seen in my life. And it is now with my bike rags. And I loved the event, and the food was great, and it was super well priced. But man, you could have upgraded to get socks. Did anyone get the socks?
No, and I was actually going to try to like hold on to my my hat for like a bit to like wear it on the podcast, but I couldn't even like bring myself to hang on to it for that long. Like it was in the way one day, and I just chucked it. It was bad. It was a bad hat.
I mean, it feels wasteful, but that's not our fault. They made a bad hat,
Bad hat.
Yeah.
What are you going to do,
Harry? Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to say a little something about the end of the ride.
Okay.
When it was, like I'm guilty for it too, because I was feeling pretty good that day, and I believe it was John, Adam, myself, and Brian, and we kind of went off a bit, and there was a couple other guys around us that were like, definitely trying to put in some efforts, and we kind of like had a bit of like a weird situation with a few people where like I don't know what they were doing. I don't know, it was like some weird intersections, and things got a little bit weird for a minute. And then there was we kind of went off on them. There was someone acting weird about like he like wasn't happy about I don't know, a move that we made, or like I don't know, there was something weird. I don't remember what it was. But then we kind of went off, and we didn't want them to catch up to us. And then the four of us were like kind of just hammering for the last 8 or however many miles. And then there was a couple other guys that came up on us and made an attack, and that was really fun.
Yeah,
and then we were all trading a bit, and then they couldn't hang. And then then we got to the very end where that rotary was, and you had the very fun idea of just, I'm going to do an extra lap around the rotary. And the police officer that was there said something. I forgot. What did he say?
He said, nobody likes a show off.
Right. No one likes a show off.
Yeah. I went around the rotary. This is something I like to do. And I came up to the rotary, and I went like this. And Brian Caudy's right behind me, and he goes, I'm not going around an extra time. Like, he just immediately like shut me down. So I ended up going around, and I hear the cop say something to me, but I also happen to have my GoPro running. And I didn't think that's what he said. I thought he said something about like, you want to catch your friends or something like that. I didn't think it was nobody likes to show off, because I'd like to think if I heard him say that, then I would have gone around a third time and flipped him off when I went by him. But yeah, he did say that. And then this is what caused me to miss the finish line, because like I'm feeling good. I go around the rotary, it felt like, it was fun, obviously. And I catch up with you guys, and we were still hammering pretty hard, but we're like coming through the town square, and there's just one other guy. And I think I'm on the front of the group at this point, and I like put down a little bit of extra power because I know we're coming to a close. And not to bury the lead here, but I never had the route on my head unit the whole time. I never had a route. That's how well marked this course was, and how good you guys are at pointing out turns and shit, because I never had a route the whole time. I fucked up, and I forgot to download the New York map like a fucking amateur. And I'm sprinting with this guy, and there are cones in the middle of the road that denote the left turn into the final straight, and I blow straight through the cones. I remember noticing the cones. I remember thinking, what are these cones here for? Oh, they're plenty wide enough. I can go right through them. and I go right through them with this other guy, and you guys all turn left and go underneath the fucking.
This is on video, by the way. You will see this, I am sure, on the final.
You will 100% see this in the final video. Adam has it on video. I look like an absolute fool. And like, as much as earlier I was like, well, these people aren't racing, I decided to like try to out sprint some guy I didn't know, and I missed the finish line. So, I mean, I guess I'm just as guilty as anyone else, but it was a lot of fun. And it was a very well marked route because I was panicking at the start line, and it just never, it didn't work out for me. Bad internet connection where at the last second. So no good.
I don't think those cones were super helpful in telling us where to go. If Brian was not in front of me and taken the left where the cones were, I would have gone where you went too. That's like, it just wasn't super clear.
There were arrows at every other turn. There was no arrow.
True.
There's no arrow there. And so like, I looked out for arrows for like, whatever. How long were we on the bikes? Like 4 hours, 5 hours?
And there was no hours.
Yeah. There's no arrow at the end. And so, thank you, Brian. That makes me feel a little bit better. But it was super well marked, I think, a lot of
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thank you guys. Anything else would anyone like to add about Farmer's Daughter before we get out of here? Yeah, I added it to the IJAH calendar today. Registration isn't up till January 1st, but it's in there. It's around the same weekend, May 23rd, May 22nd, something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess Everyone Thank you to the organizers. It's a cool ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, definitely one of the best bang for your buck rides that I have done.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and there was beer, right? There was a beer ticket.
Yeah, and the beer was good.
Beer was good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Beer was very good.
Yeah, we saw a lot of other friendly faces there. That we mentioned some. We didn't mention everyone, but I think it's nice that it's not a race, because I think that more people are more prone to sign up for something that isn't just a race. So yeah, maybe do a race wave, I guess. And I don't know why you had chipped. I don't know why they had chip timing. But yeah, I guess and now I'm just repeating myself. Thank you guys so much for being here. And see you at Farmer's Daughter 2024.
Bye. Thank you.
See you there. Thank you.
See you.
Thanks again to Ryan, Adam, Sam, and BSP for hopping on the pod and riding Farmer's Daughter. Also, Brian and Jeremy, who could not make it. Thank you both for also riding with us. Sorry that the timing didn't work out. And also shout out to Jason Behringer, who I mentioned earlier in the episode. He did tell us about this event. He spoke very highly of it, and I was not disappointed at all. I don't think anyone was. Highly recommend it. Put it in your calendar for next year. We're hoping to be back, and we hope to see you there too. I also would like to give a double shout out to BSP. He does the editing on these episodes of the podcast, the audio mixing, all of that stuff, and it is very helpful. And he's sort of a behind the scenes superstar in inclusion with his now in front. I mean, he's been on the show before, but today, I mean, think about it. He was on camera, but also behind. But yeah, I guess some people don't really realize how much work goes into like a free podcast, and yeah, I really enjoy doing it, and I think Brian enjoys doing it too, not to speak for him, and I enjoy his collaboration. And so, Brian, I appreciate you. Shout out to him for helping us out. That will do it for today's episode of the IJAH podcast. Thank you for listening or watching or consuming however you consume. If you're on YouTube, a like and a subscribe is very appreciated. And if you're on a podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we would love for you to leave us a review there. It really goes a long way in helping us find other listeners like you. So thanks again for listening. Hope to see you at Greylock. Hope to see you at some other event that we have going on. Oh, Greasy John's. Wow, I should have mentioned this earlier. I don't even have it written down here. Greasy John's is on July 16th. It's at my house. I was inspired by Greasy Joe's, which is a sort of grassroots ride that has been going on for a while. I remember my dad telling me about that before I was ever into bikes at all. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. We can leave this in, Brian. Not going to sneeze. Greasy John's. There's 3 different routes. There's like sort of the extra sloppy is the hardest one. Very sloppy, half slop, full slop, and half slop. That's what it is. Actually, I told you I didn't have this written down. Extra sloppy is like 96 miles. Starts from here. It's gravel. The next one is shit. I should just pull this up. Hold on, give me 2 seconds to pull this up. You guys are still watching, right? You're still watching. Every time I try to log into Strava, it wants me to log in. Every time I go to Strava, it wants me to log in again. Why is that? I don't have like cookies disabled or anything. I don't know why that happens. Okay, here we go. Greasy John's. Sunday, July 16th. That's starting from my house, which I guess that means I'm giving out my location on the internet. I'm sort of doxing myself here. Don't really feel super comfortable about it, but I'm not going to say the address on the podcast, I guess, if that helps. So if you head over to the Strava, It's Just a Hill Club on Strava, there are 3 events. They're all Greasy Johns. There's Extra Sloppy, Full Slop, and Half Slop. The Extra Sloppy starts around 7:30 a.m., the Full Slop starts around 9 a.m., and the Half Slop starts around 10 a.m. You can sort of roll out however you want, but the plan is for everyone to be back here at the end at the same time for a sort of potluck summer get together, if you will, or just like laying on the grass in pain after you've suffered for a few hours. So there are 3 routes up there. They're all different lengths. It all starts at different times. You can check it out on the Strava IJAH Club. I personally will be riding the Extra Sloppy and then coming back here and setting up some tables and stuff and for people to bring food, sort of bring your own like alcohol, bring your own food, relax on the alcohol. Don't be like getting crazy at my house. That's not what I'm asking for people to be doing. It's like getting all freaking hammered at my house. Extra Sloppy, Full Slop, Half Slop. Let's pull them up. Let's see how long the routes are. The Extra Sloppy is 95 miles with 6,200 feet of elevation. The Full Slop is 69 miles, nice, with 4,500 elevation. And the Half Slop is 53 miles, 3,400 feet of elevation. Mixed ride, mostly gravel, some single track, technical sections, not too many because they're not my favorite, but there are definitely some. All of the routes are going to be challenging. All of the routes will cause you to suffer a bit. If you do the Extra Sloppy, there are 3 stops and there are 2 stops on the Full Slop and the Half Slop. Those are both at Onico Market at mile 24 and mile 35 is at Sunny's Market for the Half Slop. And the Full Slop is, just a little bit different, but the same. Hold on, I have it here. Super prepared for this. Mile 35 and mile 50. So we try to split up the rest stops nicely. It might be a couple hours before the first one. But yeah, bring a couple of bottles, bring a flat fix kit. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. John at itsjustahill.com. That's the Greasy John's Grassroots Gravel Grinder Extravaganza. Yeah, the last one was a stretch, but what are you going to do? I'm all alone here, and now I'm just feel like I'm like, grasping for air. Okay, thanks for listening, watching, whatever. I have a blast doing this, and I appreciate you all for being a part of it in one way or the other. So see you on the next one.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.